Hello everyone, welcome back to From a Biblical Perspective with Sabriel Jemison. I am your host, Sabriel Jemison, and I wanted to talk about K-pop Demon Hunters. Huntrix has stolen our hearts and the Saja Boys have stolen our souls as the world obsesses over this movie. And I will let you know, I am one of them. I am joining them, and I will let you know all the things I love about this movie, all the analysis and the theories that I have about this movie, as well as telling you why it is okay for Christians to enjoy this movie and watch this movie, and that we should not be fearful of demons, and we should be just as unscared of them as the Huntrix is. So let's talk about that. So first I wanted to rank some of the characters. These are the main 5 characters that I saw. Of course there's the other members of the Saja Boys, which is fine. They're fine. I think they're funny. I think if I had to choose another character to put on here, my next favorite one would probably be Romance, probably. But number 1 for me is Zoe. I love Zoe. I love her spirit. She's just so fun, and she's always wanting to just be with her friends and please her friends and help her friends, and she has so much energy, and I just really love her personality, and I love her positivity, and I love her outfits, and I love her hair, and I think she's cute and all that stuff. Rumi is second. I really like Rumi. I think I kind of resonate with her a little bit with her feeling so helpless about if her voice was lost, and that's something that we're going to talk about in a little bit here, but that symbolism is something that I kind of resonated with as a singer. I'm very much place a lot of my value and my meaning in my singing, and not so much so that it's unhealthy or that it overtakes the value I have as God's creation or the purpose I have as his child and his servant, but it is a big aspect of my life, and I think how she reacts to knowing that she might not have her voice anymore and thinking that possibility is kind of something that resonates with me. I love her hair too, and I think there's just a lot of things about her personality that kind of match mine. She isn't super outgoing, but she tries to lead and she tries to be there for her friends. She's more serious sometimes, and I just think I really resonate with that, and I love her leadership skills. I love her, obviously all of their singing and dancing abilities are so fun. Mira is next. I really like Mira. I like her hair. Her hair is probably the style that I would replicate. I'd be the most likely to replicate out of all of them. She's also a really great friend. You know, her personality is just more kind of brash, and she's more like, I don't know, what am I trying to say? She's more serious, I guess, and she has just a different vibe about her than the other two, I feel like, but I still like her. I just feel like she doesn't resonate as much with me personally, but I still really like her. Jinwoo is next, of course, because we have to love Jinwoo. Everybody loves Jinwoo. We always forget that he's literally a demon, but it's okay. We can forget that sometimes. It's okay. Bobby's number 5. I feel like he's like the 5th most active character, you know, the most main character. He's definitely 5th in line for that. I think he's okay. I don't really like him that much. I have a theory about him that I'm going to talk about later as well, but he's alright. He's alright. He's there for them a lot of the time, and he seems like he's really trying to help them, so that's nice. He can be kind of funny sometimes, so I like that. I also ranked some of the songs, so that's what's next. I have 7, yeah, I think 7 songs on here. 7 songs. Number 1 for me is Golden. I love Golden. I have been singing it non-stop the past several weeks since this movie has released and I've been able to see it. I really like the message of it, of course. It's very peppy, very hype, but it's not like crazy peppy and crazy hype. It still has like a nice solid message, and I like how it is emphasizing that when they're together and they have set aside the things that have hurt them and the things that other people didn't understand about them, and they kind of join together with each other, and they realize that they can all connect with each other on those things instead of letting other people bother them because of the things that they don't resonate with about them. They can resonate with each other, and I think that's really cool. And I know that they kind of have the other meaning about, you know, the whole moon and stuff like that with Golden, but I really like the song. I like the message. I think it's fun to sing. Your Idol is second. This is not one that I'm trying to listen to a lot. It gets in my head and I'm like, go away, because it's really not a great song, especially for Christians. But in an objective perspective, this is the second best song in the movie, I think. And apparently the world does too, because everybody loves the song. I think it charted at like number 2 or number 1 on the charts, and it passed like BTS or something like that, which is kind of embarrassing. Like, the Saja Boys aren't even real when they're beating you out. I don't know. But anyway, it was a good, objectively good song, but not one that we should listen to all the time. But the messaging is important, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more as well. How It's Done is number 3. This was a great opening number. I think it's so fun. I really like the rapping in it because it's not so fast that you can't understand it or that you can't replicate it, but it still is like, it's still good. And it was an introduction to this movie that I felt was a good baseline for what this movie was going to be about. It was a very good way for us to be like, okay, yeah, like, we're gonna love this, or this is my thing, you know, which nobody has said. But if they did, this would be a great way for you to understand what the movie is gonna be about, why you like it, and all the songs, and it just really sets the stage really well. It's fun. Takedown is number 4. I think the messaging in this is kind of fun. It's obviously not something that we should be like trying to sing to somebody specifically, because it's very, you know, it's kind of hateful, but they kind of play into that in the movie, and they kind of dive into that in the movie as well, so that's kind of fun. But this is an objective list. This isn't like my personal, the songs I'm listening to the most in order type thing. Number 5 is Free. I don't love this one as much as everybody else does personally, but I do think this is the 5th best song in the movie. I think it's good. I think it really captures how Rumi Rumi and Jinu are feeling, and how they can kind of mix that together and influence each other in that. And there's really good visuals going on during that song that I really love as well. Soda Pop is number 6. This is probably the one that I hear the most online and in people's videos, and everyone's saying that they can't stop dancing to the song. I agree. I sing it a lot. I hum it a lot. It's fun. It's not like an amazing song, and if you really, really read into the lyrics, it's like a bad song, but objectively, it's a good song. It's kind of catchy, you know, it's fine. What It Sounds Like is number 7. This one didn't really stick out to me. The second time that I watched this movie, I liked it more, but it doesn't especially stick out to me. But I like the messaging of it. I like that she is embracing who she really is and being honest and showing all of her parts, you know, all the sides of who she is. So that was cool. The next section is symbolism and themes. There's a lot of this, okay? There's a lot of symbolism and themes in this movie, and my brain was turning with all of these different ideas as I was watching this movie, even for the first time. But the first one I have are the demon marks. I think these are supposed to represent secrets, or even sins, you could say, that people keep, and they try to hide them. But the more that you hide them, and the more that you suppress them, and the less that you try to approach them head on, it's just gonna keep consuming your life, and it's gonna make you even more anxious, and you're gonna keep being torn between wanting to tell somebody and then not telling them, and it's just this big endless cycle of worry and fear and suppression and things like that. Revealing it can seem shameful, like when she had her patterns and she was kind of shameful about it, but it's needed. And if you reveal your secrets to somebody who's trustworthy, of course, or you reveal your sins, or you ask for help with those sins, the right people are not going to hate on you for that, or like shut you out for that. They're gonna help you with that. They're gonna accept you. They're gonna help you learn how to deal with it or change it if it's something bad. And the more people are upset because you kept a secret rather than what the actual secret was. And I think that's something that we have to learn when we're dealing with different secrets and different sins that we just keep suppressing. We're like, I'm not gonna deal with that right now, or I'm just not ready to approach that head on. It's like, you gotta get yourself ready. Okay, make yourself ready. Whatever you have to do to make yourself ready to share that or change that about yourself, you gotta do it. And this is also going to be as spoiler-free as possible, y'all. That was somewhat of a spoiler, but it's literally within the first like 20 minutes of the movie you find out that she has demon patterns, so that's not like a huge spoiler. I'm not gonna say anything else about where that kind of leads, but I'm gonna try to not be like, no spoilers, basically. The next thing is choosing to be good. You always have the choice. You don't have to make a deal with the devil. You don't have to do this bad thing because you're like, oh, well, you know, it's what's best for me, or that's all I can do. It's like, you do not have to. You do not have to choose the dark side, if you will. There's a lot of stuff about this with the demons and how they serve, oh no, oh, I forgot his name. You know, the head guy, that's not Satan, but he's basically Satan. When they serve him, and you don't have to, you know. Some of them maybe were like born there, I guess. I don't understand fully how the demon world works in like Korean, not culture, but like this part of the Korean religion, I guess. There's a lot of stuff about specifically Korean roots and Korean religion and Korean beliefs in this movie. But I do know that there's some of the demons that are there because they chose to make a deal with the devil, you know, and you don't have to do that. You always have the choice to be good. You always have the choice to make yourself a better person. And I think that was another big theme in this movie. Another one was placing your worth in your talents. This was something that I noticed for the first time with Rumi, when her voice was kind of fading out and she was like, no, what am I gonna do, you know, like I have to do this to defeat my demons. And that's kind of what we think of sometimes when we think of the things that we enjoy or the gifts that we have. We're like, no, I need to do this, I need to be able to do this to defeat my demons, to block out my troubles, you know, whatever it is. You like need to have this thing, but really you don't need to have it. You really want to have it, and that's okay. Like, it's okay to enjoy the talents and the gifts that God has given you, but don't place in too much of your worth and your value and your time into this thing, when your identity should be in God, and it should be in the other really important roles that He has placed you in, but of course solely and originally in being His servant, being loved by Him and loving Him, and serving Him. That is our full role, and our worth comes from being His child. That is it. That is all we need to do, and we don't have to do anything to be valuable to Him. He always is going to want us. He always is going to want us to come to Him and be with Him, and that is something beautiful. It doesn't matter what gifts or talents we have, He's still going to want that. He's still going to want us, and I think that is another of these lessons. It's not place too much worth in your specific talents. The next thing is music holds power. This music is what they use to defeat demons. Like, this is kind of what we were talking about before, literally a few minutes ago, when I said, oh, like, don't place so much worth in this because you're like, I need it to defeat my demons. Like, it might help you deal with some of your troubles, but God is the one that's ultimately going to save you from those, you know. But music can still help, and music can still hold a lot of power. Everybody in the world pretty much likes some form of music. You know, you listen to it or you sing it or things like that. Not everybody is really great at singing. Not everybody is really amazing at like writing songs. But there's usually some form of music that people like, and it is always in movies, you know, in scores and in soundtracks. It makes you feel things, and it can really help you deal with a lot of your issues, and it's a good way for you to express yourself and express how you feel. And I think that is also another theme in here. Friendship challenges and changes is another one. I'm not going to be super specific about this because, like I said, I don't want to go into spoilers, but knowing that things in your friendship can change without it like blowing up. You know, you don't have to end your friendship because something changes in your friendship, or because you have a little disagreement or something like that. That doesn't have to result in a complete fallout. And you're going to change as people, you're going to grow as people. That is another thing that is really interesting to remember. There's never going to be a point in your life where you're just like completely stagnant and your friend is completely stagnant and you're always going to remain the same. That's just not how it's going to be. But this trio does a really good job of showing how real friendship should be. And they have their moments, of course, like everybody does, because we're imperfect people. But I love that you cannot see a duo in this trio, you know, and then they're all really thankful for each other, and they talk about how they've helped each other, and they've found a place that they can kind of just show and appreciate the things that other people don't appreciate about them. And I think that's really nice. The next thing is unconditional love. It is also revealed pretty soon into the movie once they start talking about Rumi's patterns. They talk about how her adopted mother, I guess, told her that she should keep these a secret and she shouldn't tell anybody about it. And towards the end of the movie, she's kind of talking to her about how, like, why could you not love this part of me, you know? And she's like, I do love you. It's like, no, but you don't actually, because you don't love this part of me, and your love isn't unconditional. You only love me because I'm keeping this in check, or because I'm doing what you asked me to in, like, protecting the whole moon and all this type of things. But really, our love for other people, if it's real love, should be unconditional love. That is how God loves us. He loves everybody. He doesn't love everything that everybody does, and neither do we. We would never say that somebody else is perfect, even though we still love them. So that's something that I think we should remember about love. And what love actually really means is that it is unconditional and it never fails, no matter what. Finding real truth is another one, and not just believing the things that somebody tells you or that you were raised in, because Rumi's adopted mother told her that she should keep these patterns a secret, but maybe it would have been okay if she didn't, you know. And sometimes you have to find the real truth about our lives and the real truth about life in general, rather than just believing what somebody tells us because they might be wrong. And I think this kind of comes into play with religion as well, like not just believing something because your parents believed it, or not believing something because somebody else believes in it, and you're like, I don't like that person, or I don't like that this person did this thing and they were a part of this religion, or they were a part of this group, so I'm just gonna completely nix it out altogether. That's not how it should work. We should be completely open to discovering our own faith and our own beliefs, and I think that's really important. The next one is idolatry. In general, in the music industry, in the K-pop industry specifically, just idolatry pretty much all over this movie. There's literally a song that's called Your Idol, and I think that is kind of signifying something about the K-pop industry, or just the music industry in general, or a lot of celebrities. People place so much faith in these people. These are other people. They're just people, you know, and people just idolize them. When they make mistakes, they don't always do the right thing, and people can get so hurt by something that their favorite celebrity does, when it's like, they didn't actually ever owe you anything. Like, maybe you shouldn't be so attached to them that this is upsetting you this much, you know, or that you're just so obsessed with them that you're gonna like cry because they didn't touch you, or like, I don't know. There's just so many crazy things that people can do because of how much they love somebody that they don't even know. And I think that's really dangerous, and we can make anything in our lives an idol. You know, we can make anything in our lives above God, and that's not how it should be. We should always be placing God at number one, even above other people in our lives. And that doesn't mean that we can't enjoy other things or love other people, but God should be number one. And we need to be careful about that. We need to be really careful about that. Empathy is another one. There's a lot of empathy in this movie. There's empathy towards Jinwoo, there's empathy towards Rumi, there's just empathy going all around. And in between them, towards each other, and the friends to other friends, and just all this stuff. Lots of empathy going around. We need to really, really practice empathy. As Christians, that's the only way that we can connect with other people who are not Christians, by knowing that we were once in a dark place, or they can be redeemed and we can help them and they're hurting. We need to really focus on empathy. And that doesn't mean that we excuse their bad behavior. That's not what empathy is. But we can still understand their side of the story and understand where they're coming from, and we have to meet people where they are sometimes. But empathy is something that is really emphasized in the basis of this movie. The next one is that people are not black and white. Nobody is as perfect or as imperfect as you might think. There's lots of good and lots of bad in pretty much everybody. Nobody is the way they are for no reason. That's the other thing. And I think this movie does a great job of talking about the different sides of people. And that's something that a lot of kids' movies, I guess, don't really do. They have very one-sided characters, or their personalities are very straightforward. I think this movie did a great job of creating well-rounded, complex characters and telling the audience, like, hey, you might think this person is really bad, or you might think this person is really good, but they have their faults and they have their good things, and all of that is going on, and that's how it is in real life as well. The last one is fighting evil with good is the only way to defeat evil. You cannot defeat evil with evil. It doesn't cancel out each other. That's not how that works. You have to fight evil with good. Only love can overcome hate. Hate and hate are not going to attack each other and just one hate goes away. It's not how it works. We have to always be stepping forward with love and stepping forward with goodness. And there's that verse in the Bible that says, do not overcome evil with evil. You cannot fight evil with evil. You have to overcome evil with good. And loving your enemies, praying for those who persecute you, that is another thing that I kind of thought of through this movie. But yeah, I think I said the same thing a lot when I was saying this movie does a really good job of this. Well, this movie does a really good job with a lot of things. But the next thing I want to talk about are some theories. I only have 3 different theories, but I love the plot of this movie. I love where everything went. I adore all of the characters. The songs are amazing. The animation was so cool and beautiful and really satisfying. I figured out that some of the same animators worked on the Spider-Verse movies, which I love those as well. Those movies have such satisfying animation, so that makes sense. But my first theory, and this is the spoiler section, by the way. There's going to be spoilers happening right now, so if you want to click off, go ahead, or skip to more towards the end and start kind of backing up to get to the theology aspect that I'm going to talk about at the end here. But my first theory is, spoiler warnings, you've been warned, Jinwoo is not dead, okay? Everybody online is saying this, everyone's in denial, but I think it's true, because when he died, his soul or spirit or whatever went into her sword, and I think there's a way for her to get that out and put into a different body, or into his body. I don't know. They're probably not gonna be able to find his body again, but they'll find somebody else or some other demon. I don't know. They'll figure something out. He's not dead. I really don't think he's dead. The next one is that the manager doesn't like them that much. This is not a popular theory. I see a lot of people saying that they really like the manager, Bobby. I don't know. I'm suspicious of him because he is nice, but he's very quick to side with the Sasha boys, and he seems to be overlooked by the girls a lot, and so I can see him being this is my last straw, y'all don't care about me enough, I'm not appreciated by you, you take me for granted, I'm gonna work for the Sasha boys now. That could happen, maybe. Last one is that Jinwoo's dad was a demon. Okay, this is a stretch, and he was a half demon before he was a full demon, and that's what I think. I don't know where that is completely supported by anything. I just have this hunch, mostly because of how he reacted to her being part demon, because he knew immediately that she was part demon and not that she was a demon. So that was kind of interesting, that immediately he was like, a hunter who's part demon? He didn't say, are you a demon? He knew that she wasn't a full demon. So maybe he's seen somebody before, like him, who is not full demon. He's half demon. I think his dad was half demon or something. I don't know. It's just a maybe. It's just a thing. Okay, that's it for the theories. I don't have very many theories, but that's all I have for that. This is the theology part now. A lot of people are saying Christians shouldn't watch this movie because it's demonic, okay? Let's see the actual definition of demonic. This is the actual definition of demonic. Influence and actions of evil spirits of the devil or of demons. Okay, first of all, people made this movie. Satan did not make this movie. Demons didn't make this movie. Evil spirits didn't make this movie, okay? And God's spirit is stronger than demonic spirits or demons. If you actually have the Holy Spirit, if you have God in your heart, then you cannot be overcome by these evil spirits or demons or things like that. You have God to protect you, and your mindset needs to be in the right place. And it's a way that we can explore complex themes when we look at this movie and we think about how we can learn from it. It doesn't mean that we should be idolizing demons. It doesn't mean that we should be following demons or that we should be singing some of the songs in here that are more like ungodly, you know, things like that. That's not what we should be doing. We should be learning from the different aspects of this movie and putting it all into a biblical perspective, if you will. Simply seeing demon-related things is not sinful, because if that were the case, God wouldn't ask us to read the Bible, because the Bible has all sorts of things about demons and demonic presence and evil and things like that, and He still wants us to read all of His Word. So it's okay to expose yourself to evil things or demonic things as long as your heart and your mindset is right. It's okay. The next thing is that if you allow this to affect you, then it will. But if you don't have a conviction about it, then it's okay. I don't think that this is a big deal. But there are personal convictions that people can have. If you really are scared of this movie and you're scared of watching this movie, or you think that it's outright sinful, then don't watch it, and that's okay. But we shouldn't be telling everybody that they shouldn't watch it, or that they can't watch it, or that it's like super sinful to watch it, because it's really not. It's really not. And if you don't have a conviction, there's no problem. I have some verses to support some of these things I will list down below, but that's kind of all I have to say. I can talk more about all of the stuff that people say nowadays, people have been saying this all the time, but things about demons and demonic presences and like being possessed and like not celebrating Halloween, all that different stuff. I can talk about that in another video if you want me to. I'd be totally open to doing that. I love Halloween, I'm just gonna say that, but I can do a video about why I think it's okay for Christians to celebrate Halloween and talk about some of this stuff more extensively. But those are my thoughts. I'm giving this movie in like a 9 out of 10, okay? The only things that I'm missing, I guess, were that some of the movie wasn't super exciting, I guess, and some of it was kind of ungodly, you know, and not all the songs were like super amazing. I don't know, there was just some things that I was like but for the like 99% of the time I loved this movie. I thought it was amazing. I was like smiling pretty much the whole time, except for the parts that was sad. Obviously there were some sad parts in there, but it was really good. It was really, really good. I would recommend this to anybody. It doesn't even matter who you are, it doesn't matter what gender you are, it doesn't matter what age you are. You're gonna love it, okay? You're gonna love it. It's gonna be great. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this and you'll contemplate some of the things I've talked about, and that you will watch this movie. Please go and share this video with people that you think would enjoy it, and watch this movie, support this movie, because it's one of the best animated movies that have come out in recent years. They're really giving Disney a run for their money. They showed them how it's done, no pun intended. But thank you once again. Have a lovely day.